All right, let's jump right in. Today, in this explainer, we are unpacking a seriously fascinating and deeply complex geopolitical issue. We're drawing directly from recent source material that lays out the Thai government and military's perspective on their ongoing border dispute with Cambodia. We are going to look at exactly how a humanitarian act from decades ago has evolved into a really tense modern standoff. So if you want a clear, structured breakdown of how Thailand is officially framing this conflict, you are definitely in the right place. Here is our roadmap for the breakdown. We'll be looking at the border area dispute, looking back at 1970, checking out the evidence from the ground, exploring the right to self-defense, and finally, digging into their global communication strategy. All right, starting things off with Section 1, the border area dispute. To really understand the tension along the Chanthaburi and Trot borders, we have to look at the baseline disagreement over the land itself. According to the source material, there is just a stark contrast in how this border is viewed. You have a report from a UN representative and the general Cambodian claim suggesting that Cambodians in this area are simply returning to live on their own rightful land. But on the flip side, the Thai Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or the MFA, strongly and officially disputes this. They assert that these individuals are actually occupying sovereign Thai land. So we have a total clash of foundational facts right out of the gate. And the rhetoric around this clash is incredibly intense. Thai officials argued that the international community is being fed what they call a twisted history just to suit certain political agendas. They are actively demanding a return to what they label the factual history of the region. So that begs the question, what exactly is this factual history they're talking about? Well, that takes us right into Section 2, looking back at 1970. We need to shift our focus back over 50 years. Walking through this timeline brilliantly illustrates the core arguments surrounding what is known locally as Prawattasatpruni Thailand Kambuchapi 1970, the 1970 Thai-Cambodian border history. According to the Thai perspective, back in 1970, Thailand operated on its humanitarian tradition and opened up its land to shelter a huge number of Cambodian refugees fleeing internal conflict, and they did this explicitly at the request of the United Nations. But as the decades passed and the conflict subsided, the refugees never went back home, and that was despite repeated official protests from the Thai side. So that brings us to today, where those original refugees and their descendants are now claiming the very land they were sheltered on is actually Cambodian territory. This historical context is quite literally the bedrock of Thailand's diplomatic stance today. There's this incredibly impassioned plea from a Thai Ministry of Foreign Affairs official in the source material who says, "Please do not forget the real history of the area and the real efforts from both sides that has led us to this point." They are practically begging the UN and the global community to remember those 1970 humanitarian origins, arguing that you just cannot solve the present without acknowledging the past. But of course, this isn't just a debate happening in history books. Let's move to Section 3, Evidence from the Ground. According to the Joint Information Center, the Thai military is meticulously collecting hard, concrete evidence to prove the severe hazards out there right now. They're compiling fact sheets, taking photos, recording videos, the whole 9 yards. The source highlights the discovery of incredibly dangerous materials on the ground, things like large anti-tank mines and terrifying improvised explosive devices, or IEDs. This documentation is absolutely crucial to their narrative that the area is a high-risk zone requiring a serious military presence. Furthermore, Thai officials emphatically state that their operations adhere strictly to military targets. They claim 0 civilian targets have been engaged by Thai forces. They draw a really sharp contrast here, noting in the source material that Thai civilian properties, specifically mentioning a civilian gas station that was hit, were damaged by the opposing side, which they say resulted in innocent casualties and forced evacuations. This intense reality on the front line brings us to Section 4, the right to self-defense. The big takeaway here is how they legally justify their military posture. The Thai military strictly cites UN Charter Article 51. For those who don't know, this is the international law principle granting the inherent right of self-defense. By invoking Article 51, Thailand is framing their entire operation purely as a defensive necessity to protect their sovereignty and their citizens. They firmly deny any accusations of aggression or escalation. But it's fascinating to see how that self-defense policy actually translates to boots on the ground, right? It creates this really unique tactical dynamic. On one hand, they maintain a strict defensive posture, stressing that they never start conflicts or fire first. But simultaneously, they maintain an imminent threat response. They're fully prepared and authorized to strike first if the need to neutralize an immediate visible danger to their personnel. To really grasp the intensity of these rules of engagement, check out this direct quote from a Thai military official regarding imminent threats. They say, if we see an imminent threat, like someone pointing a weapon at us, we don't wait for them to shoot first. We deal with it immediately. It is a hardline zero-tolerance policy for direct threats against their soldiers, which really highlights just how volatile the front line truly is. Yet, despite that tactical readiness to strike, the military asserts they are strictly adhering to a December 28th joint statement aimed at de-escalation. The steps are pretty straightforward. Avoid all provocation, keep troops exactly where they currently are to build trust, and crucially, maintain open communication through established local hotlines to verify facts and prevent misunderstandings from just spiraling out of control. Which brings us to our final topic, Section 5, Global Communication Strategy. Because as we learn from the sources, the physical border is only one battlefield. The Thai government is simultaneously heavily engaged in an international information war. The Thai MFA is treating data collection with the exact same seriousness as physical border security. They state they are collecting every single detail, every fact sheet, every photo of an IED, every historical document from 1970. They're doing this to counter opposing narratives during high-level bilateral meetings with foreign allies, with international media, and on global stages. They know that whoever wins the narrative often wins the geopolitical dispute. Now, what's truly staggering here is the scale of their strategy. 16. That is the number of different languages the Thai Ministry of Foreign Affairs is actively translating their evidence and that 1970 historical context into. They are mass broadcasting their factual history globally to ensure their perspective is understood internationally, directly combating what they feel is widespread misinformation. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to ponder based on the Thai perspective we've explored today. How do historical interpretations of humanitarian acts from 50 years ago, like a 1970 UN refugee request, continue to dictate and complicate modern geopolitical conflicts? It is a powerful reminder that in geopolitics, the past is rarely just the past. It's the very foundation of tomorrow's disputes. Thanks for joining me to unpack this fascinating source material and keep questioning the history behind the headlines.